As you know, I taught at West Point for years, and I still lecture at the U.S. Army War College. You have to know all the domains of warfare.
Right.
Land, sea, air, space, and cyber. So, that's what we try and do at Hilco Advisory, Hilco Global for our advisory group. And
Right.
I tell you, the world has never been as volatile as it is right now. At least it feels that way.
I look at this and I fall back, Patrick, on my deep military career. Russell Crowe and Master and Commander, the Patrick O'Brien movie of the Napoleonic Wars. This isn't Napoleonic Wars. Axios has today that 75% of casualties Ukraine, Russia are from drones. Patrick Murphy on a blockade in an age of drones.
Yeah, well, listen, let's hope that there's not swarm drones going after, our troops that are over there. Because as you know, we've had the largest U.S. military buildup in that region since before the Iraq War, which I served in during the invasion. And, it's already cost, when you think about, Tom, today's tax day, it's cost the American taxpayer by the end of this month, 2 months of the war, $42 billion. And that's from the Penn Wharton Budget Model Office at Penn Wharton, where I teach. So, you know, that's why a lot of Americans are saying, hey, you promised me one thing, no new wars, and you gave me this. You promised me less inflation. It's gone up. And, it's projected to be 4.2%. Gas prices over $1. And that's why, for us looking and advising industry, they want certainty. And that's why not just the American people, but Wall Street and businesses across America and this world are pretty frustrated by what they're seeing.
Patrick, the air offensive against Iran has been, extraordinarily effective. But I think what we've all learned over, the last 30, 40, 50 years is only so much airstrikes can do here. What do you think the next step should be for the U.S. here? I mean, there's additional talks today of maybe extending the ceasefire. What do you think is the best off-ramp here?
Yeah, well, listen, those of us who've seen war, and I've lost 19 men in my unit in evasion in Iraq, do not want war. We're the reluctant warriors. It's always the last line of defense. It's also a failure of diplomacy. So let's hope that we then restart new negotiations. Obviously, Pakistan, Turkey, Oman, and now China are trying to broker that and get that back on the table after the first 21 hours didn't go well last weekend. And by the way, there's also negotiations, as we know, in Washington, D.C. right now between Lebanon and Israel. So it's a fragile ceasefire. But those of us who understand warfare understand that, you cannot have regime change with just air power. We knew that months ago, right? And anyone that understands military history and has commanded that understands it wasn't going to happen. And, the Iranian regime is still in place. Obviously, we took out their top leaders, but the Ayatollah's son is now in charge. He's even more radical. He lost his wife. He lost his son. And that's why
Right.
a lot of folks are clamoring to say, how are we going to bring this to, as you said, an elegant solution, an elegant end here where we protect our interest, have the strait flowing again because of, our greatest allies get, like, you look at South Korea,
Right.
you look at Japan, 70% of the oil comes from the strait. And so a lot of folks
Right.
are asking America to figure this out real quick.
I got to get this in. I've only got a minute and a half. I'm so sorry, sir.
Okay.
Your comments on the firing of General George, General Sliff, General C.Q. Brown Jr., and for that matter, Admiral Franchetti as well. What are we doing with our top brass?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of great public servants that have worn the cloth of this country have been let go. It reminds me of when we fired the Secretary of the Army, Eric Shinseki, before the Iraq war because he spoke truth to power, and before that war. And I will tell you, I am a big believer, Tom, in civilian leadership over military. It should be that way. But at the same time, as someone who helped lead the Army, you have to listen to military experts. And you have to listen. And God gave us all two eyes, two ears, and only one mouth for a reason. And I feel like they're listening they're only listening for what they want to hear. and patriots like Randy George, Iraq, Afghanistan veteran, West Point graduate, CQ Brown, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and so many others have been let go. And a lot of us who've worn the cloth of our country
Right.
are, one eyebrow up saying, what the hell is going on down
Right.
there in Washington, D.C.?